What is up, guys? Yet another day, just leaving the powder coater. I feel like every day for the past, whatever, couple weeks, I come to the powder coat place. There's two different powder coaters that I use. My friend Tom, and then I use ASC powder coating for the larger stuff. ASC has the ability to do like frames. They have like a huge oven. It's like bigger than my paint booth. I think it is like a paint booth that's modified or whatever. But anyways, I don't know, a lot going on at the shop. I'll film what I can. All right, so this is the ladder bar setup for the 34 chassis that Timmy's working on right now. Basically, the way that this works is it just acts as, you know, this obviously the rear end mounts or welds. This welds to the rear end, and then it kind of goes in at a bit of like a triangle. There's coilover brackets. The coilovers mount to here and then go up and then get bolted to the rear cross member. So we cut out the old cross member that was in the chassis. Timmy's cleaning up those frame rails right now, where there was like some shock mounts and where the old rear cross member was. We're then going to bolt in a factory rear spreader bar, check all of our measurements, and then weld in a new cross member that the coilover can mount to. Now Oliver just finished up what he was doing, so we're just going to go on a quick test drive with the MG just to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. You ever riding one of these? Nope. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, first is in the middle, which is weird.
Yeah. The pedals are so narrow. Like big feet are so tough to drive.
Yeah, I'm glad you're driving because I can't with the fluids on. Yeah, the Barracuda was the oldest thing I'd ridden in before this.
Really?
Yeah. This is now officially the oldest thing I've ridden in.
Literally, I have size 7 feet, and in vans, when you go to push the gas down, you like have to be cautious to not hit the brake at the same time. You ride surprisingly good.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is actually pretty comfortable.
And it says we're going 70. Let's drop that. How accurate that is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't think we're going 70. If we are, this thing's really nice at 70.
Yeah.
I like the little rear view mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, it acts as like a little pump. Old Mustangs, the washer squirters on them were down by your foot, and it was like this little pedal, and you pushed it in and out, and it was, and that's what pumped the washer squirters. I just went to Greg Brown's house to swap out a battery. We've been having some issues with Optima red tops, and the last 3 of them that we put in cars, they just draw down and down and down, and then they finally they just like don't charge back up. And I've had great luck with Optimas for years. It's just been these last couple have had some issues with the red tops. I don't know, maybe it's just because the cars that they're in don't get driven that much, so like, you know, the car sits for a month, and then if it gets started and run for, you know, 2 minutes, and then sits for another week or two and then starts and runs for 5 minutes or whatever, you know. And that's not always the case with the few that we've had issues with. I mean, sometimes they get used a little bit more, like they'll sit for 2 weeks and then get driven for a couple hours, but then, you know, sit for another couple weeks. But regardless, what I've had is issues that the batteries are, I got something in the back of the truck and I'm going around a corner a little bit fast. So anyways, I gotta slow down. But what was I saying? Oh, the batteries are just kind of losing their charge, and they kind of get to a point where they're just not as good as they were. So I've actually just swapped out the last 3 red tops with yellow tops, and they're supposed to be better. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. However, the Mustang, Greg called me last night. So I'd put just like a chintzy cheap battery in the car. I mean, we did a parasitic draw test, and the car is like not, I mean, it has, you know, there's not really anything that would be out of the ordinary as far as a parasitic draw goes. But then the battery would just die like after, you know, a week. And it's like, why is this battery dying when there's like literally a parasitic draw that's, you know, within spec? So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna just put another battery in there. Now the battery mount in the Mustang is for an Optima. I can't put another type of battery in there because the battery mount is specific to Optima. So I just took the battery out of my Race a Gentleman car and stuck it in Greg's car and just stuck it in there. And I said, you know, Greg, don't drive it around, but just, you know, I know the car is gonna sit for a week or whatever. I'm gonna order the yellow top, and it took some time to come in. But I just had the car sitting with a regular cheap Napa battery in there, and no issues at all. The thing sat for almost 2 weeks actually, you know, just sitting. And every day I'd say, Greg, go just turn the key and see what the voltage says. And every day it would be like, you know, 12.1, 11.9, 12.1 or 12.0. Like it would just hover right around 12 volts. You know, and start the car up fine. It would fire right up, charge at 14.8 or whatever it charges at. And that's what it's been doing. You know, he's just moving it in and out of the garage. And he knew he wasn't gonna be driving it for the past couple of weeks, which is why I was fine putting that regular battery in there, but no issues with just a cheap Napa battery. So I just went up there. Well, yesterday, Friday, I'm sorry, I messaged Greg and said, hey, the battery's in, let me know when I can come up there. So he was away over the weekend. Yesterday, he sent me a text and says, hey, the voltage is at 12 volts, but when I turn the key, nothing happens and won't start the car. And I'm like, what the heck? That doesn't make any sense. Like, this car has been like beating me up, and everybody, you know, it's just been like, what the heck? It doesn't make sense. So I was gonna like load my trailer and like go up there and just get the car. And then I said, you know what? It's raining out. I'm just gonna run up there, put the yellow top in it, swap it out, see what's going on. Maybe it's just something stupid. Well, sure enough, I get there, I turn the ignition, nothing. And I'm kind of like, this is so weird. And Greg goes, hey, make sure it's in park. Like, I put it in park and the thing fired right up. So it has a neutral safety switch. So the car wasn't put in park for whatever reason. Don't know why, but I was freaking out. Not freaking out, but I've just spent hours last night within the back of my head going, why is that car not cranking when it has 12 volts? It should crank. It's all new. Everything's new and the best of the best. It's all good stuff. Anyways, it's all perfect. Everything's good. The car has a yellow top in it now. It runs and drives and starts, and everything's good with it. So I'm feeling pretty good. So that's my story. So Timmy's got the rear of this frame all cleaned up. The pieces here that were for the front of the ladder bar setup, they're gone now. What he did is had Oliver kind of copy the pieces that was there. So we just cut out some tabs to hold the front of the 4-bar, and then these are basically side, like boxing plates more or less, that are going to go in the inside of the frame rails, and the cross member is going to go in between these two, just like what was on there. I'll show you. So the cross member that was in there needs to be moved forward, but because it needs to be moved forward, as it goes forward, it gets narrower. So just these guys.
Put a dolly on the backside and just like make it straighter.
Make what straighter?
The panel.
What panel?
Because when you MIG weld, it shrinks down in that seam right there. And then I can get on the backside, planish it out, and then it's even better than it is now.
So this just needs to be trimmed?
Yeah, I need to trim that. I left it long.
Nice job, Matt. Matt made this patch panel, the whole thing. So the patch panel that we got, this section was a little bit too wide, right?
Yeah, the flange.
This edge wasn't that sharp.
Off. The patch panel we got, it was like I would say it was acute on both sides for the angles, and it needs to be like over 90 on both sides.
It was acute?
It was acute. And I need them to be obtuse. So,
well, they're looking obtuse.
Oh, thanks. Actually, it depends on what side you look at it. It could be obtuse or acute, depending on which side. But we're not getting into geometry right now.
Well, it looks nice.
Nice.
Jack, do you approve?
What?
Do you approve?
I don't even look at it.
You'll approve.
When I laid this on here, I laid it over top of the metal that was there, so if you account for the thickness of the metal, that's what I did on this line. I left about the thickness of the metal to my scribe line, and I'll have to cut this back. That way it'll sit right where it needs to.
Is it close?
I haven't fit it yet.
So that piece goes here, and the other piece goes here.
Probably should be fairly close.
Don't drop it.
And there's a little bit of
fine tuning.
A little bit of trimming to get it to fit.
So you're gonna weld. You think you're gonna weld the other one to that one?
It didn't distort at all when I cut this off, so I'm just gonna do one patch at a time.
And then just not weld that edge?
What's that?
No.
Yeah, I'll either just tack this to this piece and then cut it off afterwards when I take this off, or I might not even weld it. I'll see how it looks once I get that far.
Cool. Awesome. You've done a better job than Volkswagen.
I don't know about that. Maybe over here.
Yeah, your job is better than that, and that's Volkswagen. They just took a hammer and...
Did it make that noise too?
I'm sure it made that exact noise.
Don't scratch it now.
Sorry.
You know, it's like it's one thing, because even just I had it fit to the gauges before I metal finished it by hand.
Yep.
But even just doing that was stretched it enough in a few areas that it put it out of arrangement. And I have it set pretty close to the gauges. Like I said, it's not perfect, but once it's on the car, then I can metal finish it on the car. I don't have to worry about it twisting and distorting.
Right.
Because I'm working on it.
Attached to something. Yeah, but it's something. It would attach to something. Well, cool. Yeah, it looks great.
What are we doing?
A commercial for a wanted hood.
Oh, yeah. If your loved one has been diagnosed by RA29 Celica.
If you or anyone you know has a hood for RA29 Celica
and has been working in the shipyards. I'm kidding. We need a hood, okay? We have this not fine example of an RA29 Celica hood. And
so it's a 19, this is 76 Celica.
So it's 70 through 77 or 79.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We need a hood for a hatchback Celica. This one happens to be a 76. So, Matt,
Yeah.
do you know anybody that happens to have one of these hoods?
No, that's why we're asking. Please send us help. Send us guidance.
We have 2 other hoods actually. A friend of mine that lived in central New York that's building a Celica gave them to me, but they are in way worse shape than this. And this one is bad. This one had this much filler in it. It's super, like, it's been stripped, but the skin has been off and it's really a mess.
How's the hatch on it? Do we know?
The hatch isn't bad. There's a couple little spots like in the corners that just where the metal's like sandwiched together. That's like there's a little bit of rust.
Sandwich rust?
Yeah, it's simple, but easy fix. Skin's nice on it.
Here's a question.
What's that?
Do they make carbon fiber versions of this? What if we get a really nice carbon fiber one and paint it body color?
Yeah.
Nobody will know it will be carbon fiber.
Other than the guy that shuts it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go, oh, this is terrible.
It might be good. I don't know.
Has any carbon fiber hood ever been able to shut nice?
I've never had a carbon fiber hood.
Yeah, they're junk.
No, I'm sorry.
This is like a really nice street car. Carbon fiber hoods are for race cars.
I don't know.
We talked about it, like a carbon hood. They sell them. We really want to put a
Metal one back.
metal one back on it.
I can't wait to see this car.
Yes. This car's bananas. All right, guys, that does it for today. I'm really excited how everything's going at the shop. The guys have been killing it. Just really, really happy. It's like things are really going smooth and all the projects are in a good spot right now. So anyways, hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Hit the like button if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. So see you guys tomorrow. Later.